Easy wood tools, made in America. All right, guys, I'd like to welcome you to the Mad Makers Show. I think this is episode like 35, maybe 36. Easy wood tools, made in America. What was that?
Also sold in the UK.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how I start all my videos now.
So today we have a very, very special guest that actually is previously till up to this point, but just for this episode, except for the episode that Doc was covering his position, Jamie Page, or JP Woodwork.
Yeah, without the S.
Leave off the last S for savings.
Well, we have in his place the one-time co-host of the Mad Makers Show, Doc Jared Hildabrant. How's it going, Doc?
Hi, kids. Thanks for having me back. Good to be here.
So this is like a watershed moment. This is a cornerstone moment because my dog is upsetting the audio by chasing after flies and jumping around with his typewriter toenails. This is the Mad Maker Show for you guys that are visiting for the first time. He'll hunt down that fly and I'll show it on air. We call this the Mad Maker Show because, frankly, it's insane. It's stupefying. The people that we interview here on the internet, you only live once. The people that we interview on this show, the people we've had, the people that are here on the chat, if you're running across this, you're coming from Japan or Korea or India or wherever the heck, South America, ever the heck you're at the deserts out in frickin' Africa, wherever the heck you're coming from and visiting for the first time, listen, folks, something is happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. But if you get that reference, type it down, okay? But we interview people from around the world that create things with their hands, their ideas, their thoughts, different disciplines, including scroll sawing, lathe work, woodworking in general, metal, etc. And so my name is Eloy. That's Doc, and JP is our interviewee today. Doc, any words?
No words. Glad to be here for the second time. Always good to ride out for you and Vigo, and especially excited to be here for JP night. Look, I wore my JP t-shirt. Yeah.
What's the story behind that? Come back and show us.
Oh no. The gut is an implant, in case anyone is wondering. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah. No plugs for me. Nothing going on except my guest host spot on the Mad Maker Show, which is happening right now. So, woohoo!
Well, awesome, dude. Can you please tell us who is out there in the chat hanging with us this evening? By the way, I did not drink wine before the show.
Not yet.
Go ahead.
All right. Odessa Al's out there. Got Jake Thompson out there. Javier's out there. Katie Dotson. Sokomo's out there. Mark Lindsay. Harneal Steve. Got Shelly Cole in the house. Bob Lee. Let's see. Ryan's out there. Waylight Ryan's out there. Mitch Dietrich. I feel like I do romper room when I do this. I see that Waylight's out there and he's having a good time.
I'm throwing out gang signs as your
Are you?
Yeah.
You're down like that, apparently. I think that's a good JP Woodwork is out there in the chat too.
JP,
but
you can't be out there, dude. You have to focus only on the frickin' thing.
that was early. He's all right. He hasn't broken show protocol yet.
I'll quickly tell you something funny about Ryan. His poor kids were suffering with sunburn yesterday, and I managed to convince him that the British put deep heat on sunburn as a cure, and he kind of fell for it.
All right, so we covered all the folks that are out there, Doc.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good cross section. If I missed anybody, I apologize.
All right, sounds good. So listen, guys, we've been doing a bunch of shows, and there's other shows out there, and we're a pretty amazing community of people. Yes, it's true. We all have our personalities, our uniqueness, individual points of views, and there's just conversations to be had to the break of dawn. But we do have a glue that glues us together, and that glue is JP Woodwork. Oh yeah, was that astonishing? But the fact of the matter is that I came into a private group on Facebook a couple of years ago, into 2016. That I was brought in there by Mike Mara. Did I say that right? And I came across JP, and JP and I started talking, and he was very friendly, and he's always welcoming. I noticed that he's very welcoming to people, and very helpful to people, and making connections. And he really has done incredible work as far as, human interaction, even though we're like, we have the screen in front of us, but there's a lot that comes across, right? So I'm literally, in the same room with JP when we're talking. Well, not literally. Sorry, Javi. I didn't mean to say that. He has an issue with people saying literally. But you get the gist and the emotion of it. JP has helped a lot of people when folks are about to or far from a goal, as far as videos or whatever the case may be, or if they need a bit of social push, just to help it along. There's many instances he's there to do it. It's good that we interview JP to get it on record. And so that's why we're doing what we're doing, right? You guys all know, you guys probably have your own stories of your interactions with JP, but we don't know. Well, I know a little bit, or a good amount, because he's mentioned it, and we hang out a lot, same as Doc, but we don't know a lot of the background story. And we only have a short, this life is a journey. And so let's mark that's why we do the interviews, to see what the people of our time were thinking. So I'd like to welcome JP Woodwork to the show. What's up, dude?
How are you going? Where would you like me to start?
Hey.
Let's keep it close to the end.
Don't take that snappy attitude with us. Right off the bat, he's like with the snappy attitude.
Where would you like me to start? Right.
Well, JP. No, go ahead if you want to say something.
No, go on.
Okay, so the first thing is that you do interact a lot with folks, and we want to know a little bit about your history. So if you can give us a little bit of your past growing up, where you're from, so that we could visualize it in our minds, that would be a nice thing, so folks know. So the first part is, give us a little bit about your background history.
Well, I was brought up surrounded by cars in Detroit's 8 Mile. No, that's a joke. No, I was brought up in a place. I was born in a seaside town called Margate, on the very southeast coast of the UK, and I've basically lived in that sort of area ever since. Obviously, I live now in a town called Broadstairs, which is like 15 minutes away from Margate. I mean, the towns are very, very close to each other.
This is all oceanside, right?
Yeah. It's all coastal where I live. So yeah, it's very much coastal. I mean, I could literally walk out my house and take a 10-minute walk, and I'm standing down on the beach, quite literally. And I could literally just walk all the way up the coast until my legs couldn't carry me any longer, even in either direction, So I was always quite fortunate there. So yeah, that was always good. So living on the beach, it was after school, it was straight down the beach. I was never really home growing up. So that was always a plus. So yeah, I mean now it's a case of when I get asked to go down the beach, it's kind of lost its touch, if you like. You know, it doesn't really have a thrill for me now. You know, um,
So you're basically saying after so many years to you, the beach is
it's now if it's kind of strange now going to the States, like last year, for example, going to Atlanta and standing. I think we was at Daytona Beach. Now standing at that beach with Mark Saunders, it is a completely different experience to the beaches that we've got here. You know, now the beaches that we've got here are, don't get me wrong, they're beautiful beaches, but the beaches in the States, they're beautiful as well, but they're different beautiful. You know, it's kind of hard to kind of explain. You know, but I don't know. It's I don't know. They're just different. You
Is
know,
that something that struck you? You know,
yeah,
that stuck out.
yeah. It's kind of weird. I mean, it's like when Mark was saying, "Oh, we go to the beach." It's kind of like I didn't really. I wasn't kind of overjoyed with, we're going to the beach. Do you know what I mean? But when I actually got there, I was like, wow. You know,
It's a different
it
world,
was,
right?
yeah, without doubt. It's I couldn't really believe how much clearer the waters were, and you know, it didn't really make sense to me. So I can understand um, like it's not really the tropics, if you like, but that's what it seemed like, you know. So you see pictures on TV all the time, like when people are walking and they've got fish around their feet and all that lot. It weren't as clear as that, but it was clearer. You know, there wasn't seaweed and all that sort of stuff. You know, like I'm kind of used to, like the smell of fish,
Right.
like dead fish, though. You know.
Yeah, none of that here.
Yeah, exactly. It's all
Well,
completely fresh air.
yeah, because we have, well, if it's up and down the East Coast, it's usually we have the winds to push us, and
yeah, and like there's no broken bottles and people drunk laying on benches, all that sort of stuff. You know.
we
So
try
we've
to
got
round
over
them. We try to round them up and toss them in like
yeah,
jail cells and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, we try to keep our streets clean. So you grew up seaside. It impressed you that you here in America that it was a different sort of environment. So you were like, oh, beach, whatever. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, well, this is quite different. How about the Keys?
The Keys, they were beautiful. That was something that was like a that was kind of like, if I was to describe heaven, I think that's probably what I would describe it as. That's like something I've never seen before.
Big Martha from Duval Street might agree with you.
You know, there was actually a funny story about the Keys. I was walking down there, going to get my tattoo, and I was actually wearing my Jackman shirt. Obviously, it says Jackman Works on it, and a homeless guy, was walking in the opposite direction. So he's walking towards me, and he just stopped right in front of me, pointed at my shirt, laughed, and said, "Ha, Jackman Works," and just carried on walking.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So your family, the woodworking, how did you get into just the initial DIYing woodworking? Give us a little bit of that.
How did I get into DIYing? My dad used to be a tower crane operator. Growing up, like my dad was in the army, like all of his brothers and things like that. But obviously, I was never born when my dad was doing all of that. the only thing I can ever remember my dad doing was working on construction sites and things like that. And my dad being a tower crane operator, and back then, like my dad being up that high and all that, like working the crane, he was kind of like a hero. Do you know what I mean? Like my dad always promised that he'd build me my own crane in the back garden and all that sort of stuff. And obviously that never did happen because God knows what the laws against that would have been. But yeah, it's so my dad used to take me to work with him as a child. I think there's a few pictures lying around Facebook of that. So yeah, it's that was basically it. And ever since as a child, I had my little jeans and little work clothes, and used to go to work with him. Like, and I was always had like a hammer and nails in my hand and whacking bits and whacking nails into wood. And so yeah, I was always doing something like with my hands, whatever it may be, you know. And then I think I may have been about 11 or so. I think that my parents got me just some cheap toolkit or of some sort. Now, I mean, it really was nothing special. I think it cost something like maybe £70, if that. And it was kind of like one of the 50-piece toolkit. Do you know what I mean? To get you started, you know.
That's awesome.
And like I say, it really was nothing, you know. But to me, it was kind of everything. It was like the cheapest hand saw, the cheapest set of chisels, the crappiest mallet you could ever imagine. But it was kind of like gold dust to me. Do you know what I mean? If anyone touched them tools, it was like, do you know what I mean? And yeah, it was kind of, so I set up like a little bench up outside, or my dad helped me set up a bench and all that sort of stuff outside. And then eventually they gave me my own little shed and all that lot. So I had my own little workbench outside in the shed. And I mean, obviously nothing really came of it. And but yeah, I had my own little workspace, and I mean, I just loved it. So I don't think I've even got anything of what I made back then. But yeah, that's basically how it all started. It all kind of started from my dad from the construction site.
What was the so you have this history, right? And I guess you identified very much with making and creating things with your hand and building and all that. It sounds from your drawn from your dad, and you felt quite, you know, interested and comfortable with it, and it just seemed like fun. So, but let me ask you this, because there's this, we always talk about it. There's this sort of connection now that we all are a part of. I mean, all of us that are here, we're here because there's a connection, and that connection is the issue of social media intermixed and intermingled with the making itself. And it's just created this brand new thing that I always mention. In my mind, to me, it's like we're all like, you know, part of a movement in time that will be looked back on, and like, you know, the Antiques Roadshow. This is a Doc Jared Hildabrant screwdriver with a custom handle and a coin at the back butt of the you know, and so I totally, like, if I had to put money down, you know, that's the story, you know, that's going to be the case. If I had to put money down, that is going to be the case with all of us, right? So let me ask you this: when did you ease into or come into that connection and start becoming like part of the social media?
I don't know, to be honest. I had obviously had a Facebook account, and I would always watch videos and all that sort of stuff for years, like for the likes of the Godfathers. I'm gonna say like Steve Ramsey, Steve Carmichael, Carl Jacobson, Jay Bates back in the day, like when he was using pocket holes instead of mortise and tenons. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, like right back through the days, and then all of a sudden, Sterling come out of a video, and he was using a scroll saw, and I'm like, well, hello, what's this? You know, I've never ever seen a scroll saw before, and it just, I was just intrigued by it, and I was like, and he made like little puzzle piece coasters, and what he did was he kind of he put a picture of his family in it, and then just poured resin over the top, and I was like, wow. He's like, that's it, I'm getting a scroll saw. You know, just that one video, and it was just a simple puzzle piece coaster. You know, nothing, and nothing like nothing as intricate as what Charles does. You know, or Steve Good, the patterns that Steve Good does, or anyone else for that matter. It was just a simple silhouette of a puzzle piece. You know, and it was, and I don't know what it was, but maybe it was Sterling. I don't know. Maybe it was just him. You know, his ambience.
So, oh, and by the way, since you said ambience, I'm just going to ask you. You speak incredibly good American. When is it in history that the British learned how to speak American? Because I know that the folks out there are curious how that worked, because I mean, you know,
something like 1760 something, wasn't
it? So let me ask you this question, JP. So you also have various talents that you go for, and a thing that I notice, and I'm sure everyone notices, is that whatever discipline you go at, all joking that we do aside, and all the little jabs, because you know we play, and that's what, you know, friends and buddies do. But every discipline that you do go after, dude, you do it like to the max. Like, you're not just gonna do a scroll saw piece; you do a massive scroll saw piece. And the same with the lathe. You know, if you're gonna turn some sort of goblet or some sort of item, you go like you actually focus on it with incredible discipline, and like you're very authentic to the craft itself, and it shows. But you're also a joker. But we'll talk about that later. So the scroll saw, how did that come about? And by the way, JP, after you answer that, because we do have some questions, we're gonna go to Doc so that we can answer those questions. But we've got a bunch of stuff to ask you, because we want to put it on record so that you can't back away from it in the future. So the question is the lathe. How did that start?
How did the lathe start? Right. Well, most people are going to assume, because of the relationship I have with Carl, that it was Carl that got me into the lathe. Well, that's actually not the case. Nor was it Mike Walk, because Mike Walk's in the UK. It was actually another woodturner in the UK called Martin Saban Smith. I was watching woodturning for a while, and obviously Carl was obviously an inspiration to a certain degree, as was Mike and a lot of other turners. Even Steve Twidell, who was an incredibly talented turner.
Oh, I don't want to break into the thing, but just to let you know that officially, and I hope Steven Twidell's out there, but officially, I'm sorry, folks, that I officially am the first proper, because he used that word proper, and I took note of it. I am the first proper student online course of Temple Boy Turning.
Oh, right.
I just want, so officially. And the guy don't, and the guy, I'm sorry, the guy don't play around. The guy don't play. Continue. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so Martin released a video a while back. He was doing his own rendition of it was like a sunset, not a sunset, like a burning bowl, if you like, and the bowl, or platter, and the platter was called Golden Fire. And he's actually done two versions of it now. He's done an updated one, which is kind of like off-center turning, but it was the original version of it that he did. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's it. I've got to get a lathe. And after that, my mind was set. I've got to get a lathe. Ain't no two ways about it. And that was it. As soon as I saw that video, I commented on that. I think I actually commented on that video saying, I'm getting a lathe, blah, blah, blah. So
did you so it's an interesting thing because I hate to bring it in, but we're having a conversation as well. I know Doc has a lathe, and Doc's shop, if you guys have ever gone to see Doc's channel, his shop, or on one of the lives, his shop is like freaking, I don't know if I tell him, but it's like, it's awesome, dude.
Doc's drill press gets me in trouble with my other half because Doc's drill press is my wallpaper on my phone.
No, it's just he's got the shop and stuff that's like it's freaking, it's like a tool guy's like wet dream. Guards.
Yes, send in the chowder archers.
Yeah, chowder archers. By the way, that's a quote from the Scratch podcast, which you want, if you want to visit. I don't recommend that you listen to what we say behind the scenes, but so the lathe, you thought, I've got to get it. Did you know at the time what you've told me before, the rabbit hole?
I didn't. No, I really didn't. And what's funny is what's perceived over in the US is really not perceived over here. Like pen turning, for argument's sake. Well, that's one thing I've seen is you see people at craft fairs selling pens, and you see them left, right, and centre, and people are buying them and all sorts. You see them, you really don't see them. There's not that much of a high demand, from what I've seen anyway. You know, yes, they sell the kits, but you really don't. I personally haven't seen it sold as much. It's not that, it's like, yes, but like, for example, one of the reasons I got into pen turning was I assumed that there'd be loads of people wanting a hand-turned wooden pen. To me, that sounds brilliant, So I bought, when I first got it, I think I must have spent maybe $150 worth of kits and blanks and all that sort of stuff. And I got it, started turning pens, and I thought, oh, I'm going to buy some acrylic ones as well now. So I've got some acrylic blanks, started making some acrylic pens. And fair enough, they were only slimline. I was making loads of slimline ones at the time. But yeah, there you go. There's one that I've done for you. That was unique because you said that you wanted it really fat. Again, so I just made loads and loads of slimline pens. So there's wooden ones and acrylic ones, and then people approached me saying that they wanted a pen. I made a Sharpie one, and so all of a sudden, like, people saying to me, like, yeah, I'll have a pen off you. I said, right, there's the wooden ones, there's the acrylic ones. Nobody was interested in the wooden ones, right? So all of a sudden, I've got no acrylic ones left, right? I'm sort of like, right, then people are approaching me about pens, right? And I was like, all right, what one do you want? And he goes, well, have you got any blue left? And I'm like, well, what do you mean blue? And they said, well, we want the plastic ones. And I'm like, do you mean acrylic?
Yeah, that's
and
good.
I'm like, but I've got loads of wood ones here. Like, don't you want a walnut or a purple heart? Do you know what I mean? A pink ivory one maybe for your wife. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no. What about a nice green one or a red one?
So it's like,
and I'm talking. Yeah. It's like, yeah, but we like this kind of pattern.
Yeah, but you've been hanging out with Americans too long, so you think you think that what we like is what
that's the problem. So there's not a great demand for them over here, which is a real shame, to be honest. But so, I mean, some of the handcrafted stuff over here as well. Is I went to we have a thing down in the town. I think it's called Folk Week, and like, there's a folk week.
Oh, okay.
Like folk dancers and all that sort of folk music and all that sort of stuff, and it happens for a week, so it's called Folk Week. right? So there's loads of hand-carved wooden plaques and faces and what's them big tall pillar things that are all carved out. I forget what they're called.
Statues?
No, they're big round pillar things.
Phalluses?
In the water?
No. They're made out of wood.
That
I forgot
sounds
what
explicit.
they're called. They're really tall, and they're like big pillars, but they're carved faces on them and things like that.
A totem pole?
Totem pole, that's it.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, there are things like that down there. And I think I messaged someone once and said, like, how much would you pay for something like that in the States? And they're saying, like, I don't know, maybe $300-400 for something like that. And I was like, well, they're charging like £15-20 over here, which is like $35. You know, it's like the craftsmanship is lost over here. You know, so like, no one cares, which is a shame. You know, it's like that. It's like, for example, the scroll saw work that I've gone and done. Right, no one's going to give two damns that I've just stood in front of that scroll saw for 30+ hours. Right, if I was to turn around and say to someone, I want, say, £100 for that scroll saw piece because I've just put all that work in, not to mention materials, they're going to say, no, I will give you, say, £25 because that's what I think it's worth.
They're haggling with you and stuff. Well,
that's basically what they would say. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't care how much time I put into it.
Yeah,
they will think that they can go downtown and get it cheaper. It's like handcrafted stuff. They don't care about these no more. Well, it's a lost item. They think they can go on eBay and get it cheaper or something like that, or IKEA.
Well, so yeah, like I totally see that whole thing that you're saying. We are going to get to the questions in a second here, but I just want to say I totally see what you're saying. It's weird because in America, and I'm not just speaking for Miami and South Florida. I'm speaking for all of America, East Coast, Northwest. In America, there's this obsession that occurs with things like, well, you see it in NASCAR as well, and people sort of rally around a thing, and it becomes, you know, just from the ground up, it becomes something to be sought after, and so it could be woodwork. I mean, what's happening with the woodworking is worldwide, but maybe the population at large, like this is my opinion. I could be wrong, but we make idols, soft idols, out of, but not that soft, out of certain things, and they become trends and all that, like kind of like the Japanese with their robots and stuff throughout the 70s and 80s. Watch that Netflix series; it's freaking awesome. That's where I got my whole bit from.
Toys that made us.
Yeah, the toys that made. That's where I got my whole bit just now.
There's a season 2 now.
Yeah. But yeah. So the Maker Central thing, which we can touch upon in a little bit, it's bringing all these people together, and then the outside people population that's not into it, but they may come across it, and then they might say, oh, there's something here, and the curious people, oh, there's connections to and then all of a sudden it starts to sort of boil, and it creates sort of a movement, for lack of a better word, and eventually it becomes a thing. So maybe you're at that point, or maybe people just, are like, whatever, I want my plastic pan. Is that how they talk in England? I want my plastic pan, and that's all I care about.
Spot on.
All right, Doc.
All right, we got a lot of stuff going on over here from the chat, including some special requests. They're really, really asking me to stretch myself here, but
sounds painful.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't mean to. This is the Mad Maker Show, so although I interjected, Doc is going to do his thing. I just wanted, before I forget, thank you to Portal Woodworks. I left a link. Check out Portal Woodworks' channel. He's got a challenge that's going to be going on soon, and it's a plywood challenge. And with Portal, at least what I've seen, I can't speak for him. This is just me talking. There's always prizes involved. So check out Portal Woodworks, even his .com. Oh, last thing. Sorry, Doc. Last thing, I want to give a special birthday wish to Steve Nealon. Sorry, no, Steve Harneal. Steve Harneal from Harneal Media. Dude, we love you. You're an awesome person, awesome friend, and enjoy your gifts. Everybody, has great affection for you here in the community. I just want to shout it out publicly, mark it as marked here this day on the JP special. And Doc.
All right. This one is from Temple Boy Turnings, Eloy's turning teacher. And I've been asked to do this appropriately. So I'm going to give this a shot.
You got to do a British accent, didn't you?
I'm going to try here. Hold on. All right. Does JP like having a draft with his maker mates, and is it easy cream crack because he don't sleep what a lot of geezers do?
So do I like having a giraffe with my maker mates, and is he always cream crack because he don't like having a lot of sleep, basically?
Yes.
Yes, I always like. Basically, what he's saying is, do I like having a laugh with all my maker mates, and am I always tired because I don't sleep a lot? That's basically what he's saying.
All right, I didn't ask you to translate. Answer the question. Don't dodge the question, JP.
Yes, I love having a laugh with all of my maker mates. And I wouldn't say I'm always tired. I've never really been one for sleeping a lot, to be honest. So there you go. That's basically it.
All right. We'll get back to a second one later because I need a little bit of break from that. Jakey Thompson wanted to know your two favorite questions, boxers or briefs.
You can go to the Makers International episode number 50 for that.
That sounds like a lot of work. Okay. And he also wanted to know size of your shop.
The size of my shop. Not very big at all. I could probably stretch my arms out like that, and that'd be my size of my shop. It's about 6 foot by. No, I'll probably say about 8 foot by 5 foot.
Oh yeah, I remember that time that you built that pillar like we were talking about, and you had to remove the roof of your house to get it out.
It was airlifted out.
Yeah.
All right. Your podcast mate, Chris Cute, wanted to know, where does your sense of humor come from?
Where does my sense of humor come from? I don't know, really. I think.
Is that because you don't have one?
Yeah. I don't know. I think through lots of difficult life experiences, I've just decided I don't care no more. I'm not going to let nothing get to me, nothing get me down. Why take life seriously? Just enjoy it. You only get one shot.
Wise words. I have to agree.
No, I think that's it, really.
All right. I think this is another one from Jakey.
Well, wait a second. You're not saying toss it all to the wind. You're just saying that, hey.
Yeah, just enjoy it. Yeah, enjoy it.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Sorry, Doc. I just, there's dynamics involved in conversation, for goodness sake. You know what, dude? Guards?
There's no reason to be like that.
She's guarding the queen.
Yeah. All right.
Don't watch the Scratch podcast and what this references, because it's going to be disturbing.
Very. I'm disturbed already. Jakey's next question was, who was the first person you ever photoshopped?
I've got, when I do the show and tell of all my pictures, you'll find that out, because I've got that on there.
Man, you're dodging a lot of questions here. I don't know.
I'm not dodging it. I'm just holding it off.
You're being dodgy.
Oh, you're being dodgy?
I'm just holding it off, because that will come up.
He's a king mixer.
No, you're being dodgy here. You're sort of, swerving down the road.
It was Laney Shaughnessy, and I've got the picture in my show and tell pictures folder.
Oh, so we screwed up your whole process. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Now, new portion of the show. I'm going to ask this question in my horrible English accent, and then you're going to answer in what I can only guess is your horrible American accent.
Okay.
All right, here we go. What's the funniest? Hold on. Sorry. What's the funniest Jack and Ori he's ever heard about another maker?
The funniest story I've ever heard about another maker.
American, please.
American cheese.
What's the funniest story? No, it's Australian. I went full blown Australian then.
Got all nasally. That was an American that needed nasal spray.
Hey. No long pauses. No long. Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
You know, I can't even do it. I can't even do an American accent now.
You do it so well all the time, though.
I know, right?
That's.
I keep for some reason I keep reverting to Australian.
Oh, that's great.
We can skip that one. If you want to know it, you have to be on a private hangout with JP.
The funniest story about it, I'll have to think about that one. I'll come back to it.
All right. Steve Harneal wanted to know, how long did it take you to make the mailbox?
How long did it take to make the mailbox? I think with all the glue drying and the paint drying and all the other bits and bobs drying, I think it took 3 days altogether. So yeah, quite a process, because I had to do all the I scroll sawed out all the letters, and there was some curve cuts and all sorts. A lot of it was actually cut on a scroll saw. The large portion of it was all cut on a scroll saw.
All right. We got 2 more questions. They're both from me. Okay. First one is, I'm going to say that I'm going to give you something, and then I want you to respond with, ain't happening.
Ain't happening.
There you go. All right. That should be your t-shirt. It should be JP Woodwork. Ain't happening.
Dude, I love the idea.
Ain't happening.
All right. Now, this is my serious question. You're very helpful to people in the maker community. You seem to go out of your way to bring people along. You find pet projects. I think people with low numbers of subscribers. What's the antithesis of that? Why do you spend more of your time building people up than yourself? I'm interested to know. You're a very selfless person from when I've been around you. Why is that?
Truth is, I don't know. I've never wanted anything of anybody else. I've always given back to the community, because I've been given a lot from the community as well. You know, just my birthday is a prime example. And then, obviously I had the trip to Atlanta as well, and then my birthday gift on top of that. You know, but even before Atlanta, I was doing it since then as well. I let my own channel kind of go down the drain, you know, to kind of build up a reputation in the community. Before that, but it was never about subscribers or money or anything like that for me. You know, it was just, I don't know, it was just more about, I always just wanted to help people, and it was more about the community and that, you know. I'm not in this for fame and all this sort. You know what I mean? I'd rather see someone that, I don't know. I'd just rather see someone, for example, like Sophie, for argument's sake. Do you know what I mean? Someone that would really like to succeed and do well at YouTube, and something that she loves doing. You know. Don't get me wrong. I love woodwork. I always have done, and I would like to sometime go real far with it. But at this moment in time, I'm really loving what I'm doing, and I am gonna grow my channel, and I am gonna start now growing my channel. That's why I've started kind of sorting my videos out now, you know. But previously it was I don't. Do you know what? I don't know. I've always just been like that, and it's not just been about not just been in the community as well. It's kind of been like that in real life. You know, it's like walking down the street and seeing a homeless person at winter, and they're like laying down there and they're freezing cold. It's sort of like, man, I can't see that. You know, so you go and buy them a cup of hot chocolate or something like that, or something to eat. You know, it's sort of like can't see them suffering. You know, it's just something like that's been in my nature. It always has been. You know, I don't know.
No, it's very cool. I understand what you're saying. Just kind of wanted to pick your brain about that if there was an incident or you're just trying to put your dollar back in. So
yeah,
I understand
it's kind of like I see. If I was to say that it's because I've been given a lot from the community, then that would be my answer. But I've been doing it since before I was given that trip to Atlanta, so I can't even been saying that. You know, but I mean, ever since I was younger, it was always that I've always been kind of a giving person. You know, I mean, my niece has been doing it, kind of does exactly the same as what I did now. So every time she gets her pocket money now, she kind of says, "I don't want it. Give it to the dogs. Trust people." You know. So my niece has kind of followed me in what I kind of did when I was younger, you know. And so like when I was younger, I just randomly one day woke up and said, right, that's it. I want to raise money for kids with leukemia, you know, and phoned up the leukemia company and said, send me out what I need to raise money, you know. So it's just one of them things. Just I've always just been like it.
Well, very cool, man. It's good what you do. I mean, people see what you do. Obviously, it's it's one of the reasons why you get the birthday presents and people behind you. And on a personal note, I'm very proud to call you a friend.
Yeah.
Because of that. So, let's end this love fest right now. We'll kick it back to E. We're done with questions. And okay.
Thank goodness.
I know. All right. shake it off. All right.
All right. Awesome. So a lot of folks, out there might not have seen, I don't know how you want to take this, but I want to go and you show us a few of the pieces, because a lot of people know you. There's two things. A lot of people either know you behind the scenes and they know that you can joke and be funny, like borderline disturbingly funny, or just serious woodworking, right? With your videos and the projects. So I want you to go through your work so that folks can see it. We can record it here. So you choose, surprise us, what you want to show us.
Do you want me to show you some of the stuff that I've got next to me first, or before I screen share, or do you want me to?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah,
you've done this show stuff before. Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah, you think that, wouldn't you? Right. Well, there's obviously this, but that was done by Bernie Solo, so that's a quick plug for Works by Solo's channel. All right, this was something I got. It was actually Steve Twidell that sent me this piece of wood, and it had a bit of cracking in it, or checking, if that's what you want to call. So I decided to make a rotten pear out of it. So yeah, you can kind of see that. And actually, fact, I might actually send that back to Steve and give him that. So yeah, there's that.
That's awesome, dude.
So it kind of looks like it's just started rotting. So yeah, I think I might send that back to Steve actually. This is a pear goblet, or mini pear goblet, made out of pear wood. It's got a little crack in it, a natural edge crack. So,
let me see the inside. Nice.
Yeah, there's that. This was the very first sphere that I ever done.
Is that pear wood as well?
No, I think that's just pallet wood. I think.
Pallet?
I was actually messing around just to see if I could do it, and I think it was just pure fluke rather than anything else. You know, I was actually what I was actually doing was practicing for Steve Twidell's "Makers Make It Matter" campaign, which I believe he's actually doing.
Yeah.
Another one for Rob Summerlin's boy. I forget what the name is, but what I do is I'll post it on my Facebook page after the show.
Yeah, and let me just before that, and you'll probably say the same thing, but makersmakeitmatter.com. If you're a maker and you'd like to participate, the idea is that you build a thing, create a thing, and then it's going to be auctioned off. You have the choice to ship it off to the person that purchases it, and all this goes to kids, special needs, and so on. You ship it off. You could do it locally, or within the country that you live. Worldwide, there's options to do it, and it's it's the community helping out, and just to do something positive. So makersmakeitmatter.com, and that's Stephen Twidell, Temple Boy Turnings, is heading that up. So it was a good thing to include. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, without doubt. This was a little pencil pot I did a while ago. I'd done that out of I can't remember what wood it was, what I used for that. But that was just made out of 2-part epoxy, pen and pencils, and obviously wood. But I generally just can't remember what wood it was that I used now. But yeah, that's just something quick and simple that I did. Obviously, with it being 2-part epoxy, it didn't take very long to set. So yeah, there was that. Here's a couple of the latest pieces that I turned, which like a long stemmed goblet. That's made out of yew.
Out of what?
Yew. YEW.
Okay, and what's that?
It's like a long stemmed goblet, if you like.
No, the wood. Like where's the? I know what that I'm looking at. I mean, dude, I'm not that freaking dense, but like it's a long goblet. I know it's a long Well, no, it's a trumpet. No, but what wood? Where does that species? Oh, it's a hearing facilitator.
Yeah. Where does it come from? It comes from a tree.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Right. This piece of wood here. I think it's just like a conifer, like a fir. But it's got water stained. But this is the latest thing that I've just turned.
Very cool. That's awesome, dude.
So, yeah, which was all quite hollowed out on the inside. So there was that. Then this is starts getting a couple of scroll sort of things now. There's a compound cut dolphin. That's made out of maple pearl.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got to round that off yet because that's going to be for an upcoming project. So
very cool.
And also I've still got the tiger here as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic, dude. That's unbelievable.
I'll give you 25 pounds for it.
I think you'd have to fight someone for it because she ain't gonna let it go.
All right, then 25 pounds and 6 ounces. I'm willing to.
That's how much I weighed when I was born.
Was it?
No.
I was gonna say your poor mom.
So yeah, there's that. That's a tiger that took me 30 hours to do.
And that's a Charles Deering pattern?
Yeah, that's a Charles Deering pattern. So that's everything I've got next to me right now. So if you want me to start screen sharing, I shall do that.
Yeah, we're going to show you guys so we're going to show you his work. He's going to show you a photo gallery. And there's also some really interesting, I don't know how he'll do it. He'll surprise us. So the maker community, you know, people aren't necessarily serious, but people can be. And JP just stirs it up, and all of a sudden you have these funny pictures that he photoshops of makers, and it's a trip. So let's look at this. I'm going to present you, JP.
Okay.
All right.
Right, so this obviously is a picture of John Lennon. This was one of the first real scroll saw portraits or pictures that I did. So yeah, I had done this about, I think I'd done it about 3 months after owning an actual scroll saw. All the stuffs before this was kind of like silhouettes of like dogs and cats and all that sort of stuff. Then this was like I say, the first real picture that I actually did. So unfortunately, it got a bit messed up around the eye area because it was real cheap plywood. So, but I do still have that.
I can't even tell.
Yeah, you can see where it's been sanded back. It's the top layer of veneers come off.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, by
Yeah.
the way, Doc, by the way, interject in between him showcasing a few of the questions.
All right.
So I have to stop eating chips then?
In a natural. Oh no, I'm sorry. Continue eating your chips while
I'll start paying attention again. No, I will. You got it.
I'm sorry for interrupting your chip.
Right. There's another one. I did a Pink Floyd one, so we're still sticking with the kind of the simple kind of 70s kind of feel to that one.
Yeah.
You
Which
know?
I still like though, a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So that one was quite a big one. That one was my uncle came around the house. He was a big Pink Floyd fan, and he basically left the house with it. And I was like, "Where is the Pink Floyd picture gone?" And I was said that, "Oh, your Uncle Colin just took it." So yeah, there's the story behind that one. So yeah, but yeah, again, it's still simple.
I'd like to see,
at the moment.
I don't have an issue with the simple or complex. To me, yes, there's a difference, but to me, the two can be interchangeable. Like as far as so
yeah.
Tomorrow you come out with a simple, scroll saw, and to me it's freaking awesome. Just
yeah. So then I decided to go up, step it up a little bit, and go a little bit more complicated.
Duran.
No, Oasis.
Oh.
And then step it up a little bit more, this is 2 standard sheets of paper. This one. So this is a little bit bigger. You see the John Lennon one just behind it, which is the John Lennon one is A4, which is a standard sheet of paper. Yeah. Well, this is obviously 2. So it's what a standard sheet of paper is 8 by 11.
8.5 by 11 for us.
Yeah. Well, that's two pieces of paper. Right. So, and one of the things about the scroll saw that I had was I didn't like being restricted by pin blades. So this is one of the reasons why I decided to get another scroll saw, so I could use the pinless blades.
Were you still in this?
Yeah, I did this one on a pin blade.
Okay.
Right. And then obviously I did the Izzy Shrek, which became kind of famous, which he was hanging up on his shop wall. There's a video on this one.
Yep, we remember.
Then I did the Nick Zammit portrait, which he proudly hangs up on his wall in his shop behind him.
Very cool.
So the guy that did Maker Central.
Who did that stencil or pattern?
That's a Charles Deering pattern as well. Charles kindly done that for us.
Very cool.
Then obviously there's the tiger you've just seen. I actually stack cut that and done 2 at a time.
How do you feel about? Well, Doc, you're supposed to. Dude, Doc, are you still eating chips?
I stopped eating chips. I'm paying attention now with both eyes.
No, but you're too much into the movie and forgetting your role. Like in between, as JP.
I am currently I am currently reading the chat right along.
as JP, no, here's the thing. As JP's doing his bit, you'll notice that there's parts where he pauses and there's empty points, and you can sneak in because the whole idea is.
Oh, okay.
You're still eating chips.
I'm not. No, I put the chips down. I put the clip on the chips. The little paper clip thing is on.
Continue. Oh, by the way, JP, if Doc tries to. If Doc tries to interject, just ignore him. No, I'm kidding. I'm setting up a whole situation here. Go ahead.
Right, yeah. There's obviously the tiger that you saw earlier on. So yeah, I stack cut that and done two at a time, which it was the first time I kind of stack cut two at a time, and it was really, really fragile taking them apart. And at the point of separating them, there was a big bang, and I was like, "Oh no! It's kind of please don't break, please don't break." Luckily, there was no breakages, but yeah, I was kind of the bum was flapping for a little while.
Doc missed like 5 opportunities there. He's eating chips, guys.
Let him eat his chips. He's all right.
Yeah, that's a beautiful piece, though, dude, and it's huge, dude.
Yeah, I think it was 18 inches wide, something like that. So, yeah, when you think about it, it was done on a 16-inch scroll saw. So, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Hey guys, there's a zombie from The Walking Dead.
Doc just tried to get in. Doc just tried to get in, and you totally did the right thing and clobbered him. Go ahead, continue, JP. Let's see if he can succeed. Let's see if Doc can succeed in the next go around. Let's see.
There's the zombie from The Walking Dead. This is unfortunate. I forgot to get a picture of it before I put it on a proper backer board. So I haven't actually got one with it on the proper backer board. I don't believe. I may have one somewhere. But yeah, this is a picture of it without it being on the proper backer board. This was actually given to the own. Well, one of the owners, one of the guys at Record Power that helped me out with the scroll saws. So he's got this now for his wife. This is another Charles Deering pattern, as was the tiger. Go on, Doc. I'll let you say something now.
I was gonna say Berkey made a correction. I'm not eating chips. I'm eating crisps.
He's eating crisps. Yeah, there you go.
That's weird of you, JP.
I don't know why, but I've always liked those the horror themed. You know, I just love the horror. I don't know. It's just freaking awesome.
Yeah. I can't remember how long this one took. I think this one took 27 hours to do. This one did.
It's a lot of hours.
Yeah. So yeah, this one took 27 hours to do. I think the portrait of Nick took 19 hours to do.
Freaking awesome, dude! It's totally zombie-licious.
Yeah, what goes on in your head before you decide to pull the trigger on a 27-hour project? Is it just a picture you can't get out of your head, or how do you come across that?
It's I hate Charles Deering. Quite simply. Or I hate the person that wants it.
Do you have this video on your channel?
Or either that, or I hate my mum for wanting it, or I hate the person that wants it, or I hate myself for loving scroll sawing, or whatever. I don't know.
Do you have this?
Yes, there's a video on the zombie. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. And by the way, as always, we have all the links down in the description, and it's important that if you haven't met JP yet, if you're new to this whole community, or even if you're an old member of this community and you just don't freaking get around, you're just sitting eating chips. You might want to look at
crisps.
I'm sorry.
We're eating crisps. Have some culture.
Continue, JP.
Yes. So yeah, it's normally I normally hate myself for liking scroll saw work. That's normally the main cause. But then again, I get to kind of zone out, and just once you get into the groove, if you like, you kind of forget about it, and before you know it, 6 hours has gone by. And I mean, but when you're standing and your ankle's hurting, you soon pick it up.
All right, let's go to the next picture. As you can tell,
and obviously there's the one everyone's familiar with as of late. So that's the latest one.
That is
Um,
intricate as heck.
Where did you get that picture of Joe Pesci? He looks like shit.
Oh dear. A lot of people, actually, a couple of people said it looks like Chris Q. So, yeah.
You should go straight to Buckingham Palace with that, wearing your what is it, the scroll
Yeah, your Skull T-shirt, and you should hold it over your head like in the movie. Say anything.
Clean. Yeah, like Jackman done in Atlanta, holding that massive sign up of Cole when he was turning.
Awesome. Continue.
Yeah, that's that one. So that's all of the scroll saw pictures. All right, so let's see. I've done a little bit of pyrography.
Oh wow, dude! But that's
in my time.
Clean, dude.
So yeah, that's I done quite a bit of pyrography. I started doing pyrography before I actually did scroll sawing. Now that's kind of my other half's kind of hobby now. She's kind of taken that over, and yeah, she seems to be doing better at it than me.
That's awesome, dude.
So yeah, that's that. Well, what's next? I think we've got wood turning next. That was the very first bowl I ever done when I was just using crappy wood, and like next door just cut like a fir down, like a conifer or something like that, and I just basically grabbed the wood, and believe me, that really is nothing special. It's sort of like the bottom inch of it is maybe inch and a half is not even touched. You know, it's so like rock bottom on the bottom that but I've still kept it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the first thing I ever tried doing.
Right.
You know,
well, it came out great though, dude. I get it, because the more you do something, and we're always critical, and we're always constantly like I do it too. We all do it, right?
Yeah.
What are you laughing at, Doc? See, I want to say something, Doc. Yep. They don't actually. We're presenting JP, so they don't see the contortions of your. It's funny though.
I'm sorry. That was there was a funny question.
Go
on.
What was the question?
Oh crap! You're muted, Doc. Unmute yourself, please.
Oh, okay. I'm back. A lot of stuff going on here. That's honestly my problem. If I'm being rude or anything like that, I'm trying to read and whatever, and I just can't do it. If I try to listen to the story, I lose the chat.
That's what makes a good co-host.
Yeah, it's not easy. JP just there makes it look simple with his man crafting mug and his Spurs hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've lost the question. This is
after that long pause. Continue. That's awesome, actually. This is what makes it. You've lost the question, dude. Okay, continue, JP.
Right. Okay. Right. There's that one of the other ones I did. That was applewood, I believe. It was either applewood or pearwood. I can't actually remember. But yeah, I got that bowl blank, and I gave that to my uncle at the end of it. So
very cool, dude.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it's not actually sanded properly, but in actual fact, that's actually what the wood looks like. So,
for the viewers, Doc is about to take a drink of water because he.
Well, no, I don't want to be rude. Does anybody want any? My mom would be upset if I didn't offer. We could put some chips in that bowl.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
I love the staging of that, though. You left the shavings on there and all.
Yeah.
And you finished it with what?
I finished it with Yorkshire grit and Danish oil.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's normally what I finish it with: Yorkshire grit, Danish oil, and probably Hampshire sheen. So I think I used Hampshire sheen original back then, but I think that was before he brought out the high gloss. Otherwise, I probably would have used high gloss.
Very cool. Next.
And there's the Berkey Bowl. There's a very famous Berkey Bowl, and which I was able to. I was actually able to hand that directly to Andy himself in Atlanta. So yeah, that's because there's actually a funny story behind the Berkey Bowl. I done a live stream on Facebook, and I was turning the original Berkey Bowl, and did the exact same process. It looked exactly the same, and I was looking at it and took the final pass, thinking that it needed a final pass when really I could have just sanded it back with like 80 grit or something just to clean it up. But took a final pass and there was a crack in there that deceived me, and the whole thing just exploded off the lathe. So I thought, right, I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm going to use a nice wood, and I'll give it back to him. So, yeah.
No, is that the milliput?
Yeah, that's black milliput in there, yeah. There's also a video on that as well.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah. So,
now, what'd you carve the bottom out with?
Just a normal Dremel.
Just by hand?
Yeah, just a normal rotary tool.
Very cool.
Yeah. What else we got? Yeah, I've just right. Okay, so not more Woodturning. These are a couple of the latest Woodturning ones I've done now, which is obviously the off-center one, which I had to start turning it with one hand because the lathe was bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, yeah, there's that one, and obviously this one.
What kind of wood is that, Jay?
I can't actually remember, to be honest.
Free wood.
Yeah, no, I had to buy it.
You don't know what it was, and it was. Oh, that's no good.
No, I can't remember. It's on my channel.
Okay.
If that's any help.
No, now I gotta watch your stuff.
Oh yeah, I guess you have to. I need the views. I'm demonetized.
Join the club.
So yeah, there's this off-center one, obviously, that what is one of my most recent ones that I did, and obviously this one here as well. And I can't remember what wood that is as well. And this is actually done with food coloring as well. So if you can see this here, this at the side here, it started off really, really small. And what actually happened is obviously a wormhole or something like that. Because the more I was taking it away, it was like, well, that's obviously a bit too deep. And if I take any more away, it's going to end up losing. So I thought I'd just make it a feature. You know, otherwise it's going to end up not going to have nothing left. So
that came out great.
Yeah. So yeah. Right. We got here, and also there's that sphere that I showed you earlier on. So I think I just, like I said, I think that's just pallet wood or something like that.
Pretty nice pallet wood.
Yeah. And I think the next one is the post box. Yeah, there you go. That's the post box I made for my cousin's wedding. When I say most of it was done on the scroll saw, all of the front one was done on the scroll saw, like the letters and like the framing parts and the door. The door was cut out with the scroll saw. So yeah, that went down really well. She's actually what she's actually doing now. She's just bought a house, a new house, I say, and they're actually going to put it in their like little conservatory part and actually use it as a real mailbox. So yeah, so they're still going to carry on using it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So all good. And then right here goes the router tombstone that I done of Richard.
Oh, that brings something up. Let's bring something up. Chris, you're cute, wanted me to ask you before, being that you grew up by the seaside, how comes you're not Seaside JP?
Seaside JP, because the story behind the Seaside Rick came up is because we was writing something in the private podcast chat that we have while we were talking about the podcast. I think someone, excuse me, someone, I think it was me actually, that accidentally done a typo and wrote Seaside Rick instead of Seaside Rock. And it just, the floodgates opened. The jokes just started. Because if you know what Seaside Rock is, it's like a sugar confectionery stick, if you like. And it's kind of a tradition that when you go on vacation, you bring back friends or family a stick of Seaside Rock to give to them. And that's basically what it is. It's always a tradition in the UK. And that's basically where it came from. So, and but yeah, I guess if I live in the UK and I live on the seaside, then I guess that should be my nickname, which I shouldn't really have said that live, but I guess it's too late now.
Hey, I just wanted to break in real quick, and I wanted to thank Anna and I wanted to thank Javi for their super chat. Everyone, go check out their links. Thanks for supporting the show and what Eloy's JP got going on here. It's appreciated.
Thank you very much on behalf of Eloy. Where's Eloy then? Because he has to go to the bathroom.
No, I'm still here. I'm allowing for you and Doc to do your thing, but Doc's
he's getting some dip for the chips as a party.
Doc's eating chips. And, okay, continue.
The dog's dancing. Yeah, this tombstone was because of on the podcast we did a team scroll saw versus team router thing, and obviously I beat Richard on the team scroll saw because Richard can't scroll saw to save his life, and Richard got a bit cocky with the router, but I beat him at the router as well, and I can't use a router to save my life. Well, turns out I couldn't, or thought I couldn't anyway, but I did that using a hand router and basically a V-card bit. So yeah, and if you watch Back to the Future, you might recognise that kind of style writing of Tombstone, because that's where it come from.
I'd also like to jump in here real quick and thank the Temple Boy for an IOU that he issued. We will hold you to that, Steve, even though you're Eloy's
teacher.
No, the turning sensei. We're gonna give him a better name than that. It's
an
like
80s turning. I like that.
It's like a dojo, the Temple Boy dojo.
Cobra Kai.
There is no pain.
No, you can't use a Cobra Kai.
There is no pain in this dojo. Is there dust collection? No, sensei.
Oh dear. Rightio. And next we go to the favourite part of everyone's this show is the picture edits. Here we go. There's the very first one I ever done, which is of Lainey Shaughnessy. That's what kicked off this whole venture of me doing picture edits. So
is that from that movie, yeah?
Yeah, it was Avatar. Avatar, yeah. That's what kicked off this whole thing. So yeah.
So that's the first one that you did. You said, "Oh, let me play around and create." Because here's the thing, guys. Before we continue.
No. I'll tell you the actual story behind it. What actually started it off? There was actually a conversation. I can't remember if it was an interview that he gave, but Lainey said somewhere that I can't remember where it was exactly, but he was doing something, and I can't remember if it was on his channel or not, but he was being recorded somewhere, and the camera came out blue, right? And he said he doesn't know if it was a light in or what it was, but he looked really blue on camera, right? And obviously, if I hear something what's said, then that plays in my head, and I'll start thinking of, what can I do? Well, straight away comes to mind at that time was Avatar. So boom, 2 and 2 together. Lainey Shaughnessy, Avatar, one picture, boom, together. So there you go. That's kind of where that came from.
All right. Let's press on. See what.
So
What else
okay, the next one. Obviously, Berkey and Mary Poppins.
That is so disturbing.
Okay.
Now, if
Berkey Poppins.
if Berkey Poppins would have come into that orphanage, that would have been a disturbing. I mean, sorry. I mean, the
Now
other way.
jolly holiday with Berkey.
Next.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Obviously, Pat Lap and Jackman get quite close. See, what's funny about this one is I haven't actually touched it. That's genuinely Pat. Just one of the pictures he sends me.
That looks like a '60s protest picture, but like the alternate '60s.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, next, the famous Izzy Shrek.
Izzy Shrek.
Yeah. One of Eloy.
That one came out cool, but you did one that was not so cool. This one is freaking awesome. I love it because it's pirates and badass and skulls and this and then you did something else. Legit. I don't know if it's in the list, but
yeah.
Oh goodness. All right.
And obviously Doc.
Oh, that's funny, dude. That is funny as heck. What do you think of that, Doc?
That's one of my favorites. Great Scott.
Great Scott.
That's a great movie.
We gotta go back, Marty.
I love the Back to the Future. I just love that. I mean, we saw it when it came out.
And Bath.
It's his own best friend.
Spaceballs.
Yep.
No one. That's the one that Chad's got as his wallpaper on his laptop.
Oh, I used that same one of Chad's for his Mad Maker show.
Yeah, that's a picture I edited.
Pat Lap is a crazy guy. That's just a random comment.
Pat Lap is awesome.
That's a fact.
Pat Lap is awesome. Fact. It's also Pat's birthday not so long ago as well, so happy birthday for that, Pat.
Yeah, that's true.
And Pat just helped me make my make an intro for me, so thanks as well for that, Pat.
Oh yeah, I saw.
And he just passed 20,000 subscribers as well, so well done as well, Pat.
Bad to the bone.
There's Patrick's and Javi.
Dude, that is so freaking awesome. Did Javi see this ever?
Yeah, he knows he's seen it. Yeah.
Oh my god, this is Patrick from Patrick's Workshop, and that's Javi from Javi's Wood Shop.
There's me and Mark Christopher playing Stick.
Jurassic Mark.
Jurassic Mark. There you go.
That's my favorite nickname in the maker community. I don't know if you know that. I laugh every time I hear that. It's like Jurassic Mark. That's pretty funny.
You were probably the only. I think you're the first person to inject that level of, comedy, levity. I could be wrong into the community, but it creates an atmosphere of also of friendship and camaraderie and discussion on a different level other than specifications of tools and whatnot. It gives an extra dimension, and you really headed that in my thought.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. There you go. Dan the Maker Man. Now there's a reason why I put this one in here. Right? The reason why I put this one in here. Now there's nothing really special about this picture, but there also is. Now the reason I put this one in here is it's actually associated with Eloy. Now, Dan never used to really be one to put his face on camera. And he always said to me, "You will never ever get me." Right? This is obviously, you've got to say, before the days that he would show his face on camera. And then he released a video putting his then he released a video on how to pronounce Escajado. Well, the second he put that video out, I screenshotted the video and made this picture. I said, "Gotcha."
That's freaking awesome.
So, yeah,
Quiznos.
that's where this one come from. There's me hanging out with the wrestler.
That's another great one.
That's hilarious with the chickens.
You can't see the similarity in the faces there as well.
I got confused when I first met you, and I thought that you were freaking DeResta many a times, you know.
Yeah, well, he's a few of his family have said that as well. No joke. Especially when I had that hat on.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's with the hat that sells it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I thought that about Doc too with the hat and in his shop.
Right.
Heck, I thought Pat Lapp was DeResta too. Wait a second.
Tony Relu?
Oh no, that's disturbing.
I think that was actually who's the woman? The Mary Poppins woman.
I don't know, but Rolu,
That's her originally.
I'm gonna have to give Rolu a thumbs up for the legs. Next.
John B. Happy.
Oh, that's great.
There you go. There's that one has had the biggest reaction ever.
Well, that was live.
That one was shown live and had the biggest reaction ever.
Yeah.
That was from the last Maritime show, or last one with Matt and Jason.
It's still funny.
It is, yeah. So, yeah, that still brings a smile. The joke that never gets old. That joke.
No.
So, and obviously, the next one, you can't have a feature edit without Carl Jacobson.
Oh, dude, that's a classic.
And that one has appeared on many a T-shirts and raised quite a fair bit of money for his charity. Make a thingy.
I'll tell you what, those long strands of peppery hair, it's like it just unfold. It looks like it could go on forever.
I know, right?
I remember when this first came out, and it was a shock because I remember the post where you put it, and Carl saw it. I think he said, "Oh my goodness," or whatever. It was like the best, dude.
He should have that going down one side of the mobile makerspace.
Oh my goodness, that, you know what? If he did that I would remember it forever and ever if that was the wrapping.
That would have been brilliant. But yeah, that's all the picture edits I've got.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's return to normalcy here. Well, awesome. So let me ask you a few questions, JP. I just want to get your thoughts and stuff. So you mentioned that the maker community has given you so much, you know, and but you in turn have as well, because there's not a lot of people. So I'm going to mention this and just say, so everybody has different roles, and we talked about this with Shogun Jimmy at one point in private and all that. That, you know, not everyone's the same. Obviously, these are obvious things, but everybody has a role to play, and it's like a natural sort of thing. But there's not many, at least in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, that are like ultra, like constantly propping everyone up and up and up, especially at the expense of themselves. And you've always done this, you know. So, and this is just the way you are, I think. So I want to ask you, how do you see the maker community? Where do you see it going? And I really want you to share your thoughts of what do you, for ill or good or whatever, or a little of both or whatever. What do you see happening, be it with online media? I really want for you to give us a little bit of that, of your thoughts.
I mean, I've always, when it comes to the maker community, I've always said it's like a family. Now, sometimes it can be a dysfunctional family, but it's a family nonetheless. And families grow. Now, families have kids, and they have kids, and then they have kids, and then they have kids, and then they have cousins and such and such. So the maker community is only going to get grow and get stronger and stronger and stronger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, that's going to happen whatever happens. You know, and it's going to get wider and wider and wider. You know, and it's just going to be a bigger family. That's all it's going to be. You know, and I don't see no negative coming out of it. That's my perspective of it. It's every now and again we're going to have there's going to be arguments. That's inevitable, but they're going to be petty arguments, and then eventually it'll probably last a week, and then whoever it is that's argued, let's start talking again. You know, it's just one of those things. Families argue.
Yeah.
You know, it's like little squabbles. Okay, you had a squabble, now you're back friends again. Who cares? You know?
So my other question is, where do you see the future of interest in the maker community in, say, England or Britain, and just
where can I see Maker community? Well, after Maker Central, hopefully, now obviously nothing's been set in stone yet. If that was to happen again, and it was to happen more and more, it's going to go big. You know, I'm after Maker Central, I can see good things coming out of that. Since that first one, I mean, I was sitting in the hotel afterwards, after Maker Central, and people's heads were just thinking, they were just brainstorming, boom, boom, boom. We can do this now. We can do that now. Everyone just wants to do things after Maker Central. People have come home and all of a sudden they want to start doing things. You know. I mean, just a prime example, right? Richard's other half, Kat, right? Kat Littlewood. You know, she just started a YouTube channel, Hippie Noodle, right? She come back from Maker Central after being around all them content creators and just started her own channel, you know, which is Hippie Noodle, right, on YouTube. So yeah, and she's also got a Facebook page and an Instagram, so go and check her out. You know.
Let me ask you then also, just for the sake of, because we're here in America, well, Doc and I and some of the folks out there, and so we don't necessarily know except what we see, but we'd like to hear from the horse's mouth. Come on, this is where you go. We'd like to know, so like, as far as supplies for makers, woodworkers, and whatnot, what's the state of that currently? Be it tools and places. I know that there's places, but can you give us just a little summary? If somebody wanted to make, and do this, just give us a little bit of that, just thoughts.
I mean, yeah, there's obviously places you can get tools. When it comes to lumber and things like that, I wouldn't have said that it's widely available, not like it is in the States. You know, you've got your normal stores like Wix's and that. In actual fact, I think Wix is the only one near me now. Anyway, a few of them are closed down. But yeah, I mean, you've got a few. You've got your plywood places are quite easily, but when it comes to hardwoods, it's not impossible near where I am to get it. A lot of the places you have to get it online.
That's what you've told me.
Unless you live right near the place. You know?
Right.
Now, the nearest place to me to get stuff is probably about hour and a half, 2 hours away. You know? And that's a drive. Yeah. You know? And it's kind of, that's not just not happening. You know, it's like I'm not going to go get in a car just to go and drive just to get a piece of walnut. Do you know what I mean?
You could.
Well, not if I want a big sheet of, make a big table or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
So you primarily order your stuff online. How about you order online? Yes.
No. Oh, for bowl blanks and things like that, I do. Yeah.
You do. And are those are sent to you from where?
I'll go to a company called Yandles.
Okay. All right, so I see. But like for things like your scroll saw work, for like things like
Like plywood.
the 1/4-inch plywoods that you use and this and
Yeah.
that, is that just
I'll go to a company called Burridge's.
and is it a specific plywood that you use?
Yeah, I'll get 6mm Baltic birch plywood.
Okay.
So you can all use normal birch plywood, but I normally use I either use normal birch plywood or I use Baltic birch plywood, because sometimes they don't even have Baltic birch in there.
All right. So, and now another question is, just if you saw someone that was, interested in making woodworking, and you offered him words of wisdom, advice, the way you see things and stuff. They want to, but they can't quite overcome. They're kind of thinking, and then maybe they're doubtful, and just life and this and that. And what words of advice would you give to makers, people that want to create and don't see necessarily, just because of whatever limitations they might have? And so what words of wisdom encouragement would you offer a person that's sort of stuck in a rut?
Don't go to Abbey Road, because he won't leave you alone afterwards.
Well, that's bad advice. Go to Abbey Road. For goodness sake.
What would I say to someone that wants to do making? Just do it and enjoy it. You will not regret it. There's so much. Whatever, if you enjoy making, whatever it may it be metalworking, woodworking, sewing, basket weaving in the Congo, like we said on the podcast. Whatever it is you'd like to do, you will enjoy it, and it will be some sort of release. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you take people that play snooker. Do you know what I mean? Or you get people that go fishing. Do you know what I mean? They can sit there for hours and fish. There's a reason why they can sit there going out there and fish for hours, because they enjoy the scenery. There's a reason why we do woodworking. It's because we like the noise of the tools, the smell of the wood. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason why we do what we do. We don't do it because we hate it.
That's for sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Heck yeah.
Take Alan, the woodworking junkie, for example. There's a reason why he loves using walnut for so much. The smell, the touch. Do you know what I mean? It's just a prime example. He's not going to go. I mean, he's not going to use in maple if he loves using walnut so much.
Right on.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
So, Doc?
Yo, bud.
Are there any final questions out there? Anything? Any ends that we have to,
I think we've peeled this onion all the way to its stinky core.
Okay, so I want to ask JP, are there any shout outs that you'd like to offer so that we know? Yes,
there is a shout out I want to give. There's a young girl that does woodturning. Her channel is called Caitlin the Cat. I think last time I checked, she had about 600 odd subscribers, maybe 400, something along those lines. I think she's about 12 or 13 years old, and man, that girl knows how to use wood turning chisels. She went to Mega Central and she was gifted some tools and her own lathe. She was previously doing stuff at a wood turning club, but like I say, someone gifted her a lathe and some tools, and now she's doing turning at home now as well. So yeah, I want to give Caitlin the cat a shout out. So
Daniel Arjou asked one final question, and it was that what's next for you?
what's next? I'm gonna start once I get my laptop back. I'm gonna start getting out some better quality videos because now I've got a decent camera. And I'm gonna start doing some more angles and just putting out better content and more content.
Awesome.
That's basically, yeah.
All right.
Better and more content. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, very good, dude. It's been an eventful year so far. It's been an eventful few years so far, and there's always been, let's say, good material, moments, ideas, adventures, whether it's, vicariously through the internet, watching, say, you receiving the news that Bobby Duke says, hey, a bunch of us got together and this and that, and you're like,
Ain't happening.
I happening.
Yeah, it's like
happening.
Yeah, and then the Atlanta, and then driving with Mark Saunders down, the eastern coast of the U.S. and all just the shows, the connections. Carl Jacobson, Easy Wood Tools being sponsored, just a bunch of things, just very wonderful. So cool, Doc.
Yeah. Thanks for having me again. Always lovely to sit in. I'm sorry for getting crumbs all over the floor.
Actually, the chips were like awesome. Just that inclusion, because we're the mad. I have to act outraged.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, if I don't do, there's no, we have to have outrage, because if not,
the conflict moves the meter.
Next time, bathe yourself in chips.
Next time, yes. Next time, chips for everybody. We're going to have everybody open here chips at the beginning of the thing.
Guards, chips, and chowder.
But,
no.
As far as JP, again,
Yeah, well done, Doc. You do good job.
Totally great.
Listen, guys, so
check out Doc's Instagram as well.
Yeah, that's right. All the links are in our description. And, listen, if you want to support us, share, around the links, and we'll do the same. I mean, the more we do that, the better. And, so I'm happy that we interviewed you, dude. Awesome. We'll be here next week. And you guys enjoy your week. We'll talk soon. Have a good night.
Take it easy, everybody.